Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can transform the look of your kitchen simply by painting your backsplash. So if this is something you're interested in seeing, just keep on watching. So for this DIY project, you're going to need some sandpaper, a degreaser, an enamel paint, a primer, and a foam brush roller. Here's the primer that we used. It's the Zinsser Bullseye 123 primer for all surfaces. I believe we had the glass backsplash tile, if I'm not mistaken, and this worked pretty well on it. We used the fantastic all-purpose cleaner, which cuts the grease, and then we used the Clark & Kensington paint and primer in one, high gloss enamel, and designer white. Next, while my husband was out running errands and purchasing all the products that I needed, I went ahead and started cleaning the backsplash tiles with just plain soap and water to try to remove any of the grease and grime. But as I show you here shortly, it didn't quite do the job. So I'm just taking you along this journey of this kitchen transformation. This isn't necessarily the right way to do it. This is just the process that we went through. So as soon as he got home, I went ahead and took that fantastic and sprayed down the entire backsplash and gave it a good scrub down so I can get rid of all the grease and grime. After removing all the outlet covers and taping off the walls and countertops, we took the sandpaper block. I want to say it's about 220 grit if I'm not mistaken, and we sanded down all the glass tiles. I honestly don't know if this helped at all. It's supposed to scratch it or buff it up a little bit to give the primer something to adhere to, but again, I'm not sure how much this helped. After sanding it, we wiped it down once again just to remove any of the dust. Now that all the prep work was done, it was time to start priming, and we actually decided to prime with a brush. This is something I would definitely change and do differently next time. I would have totally used the foam roller. Our plan was to use the brush just to get into all the grout lines and stuff like that, but the foam roller, when we used it later, actually did just that and was so much quicker. So we did probably the first coat of primer with the brush and maybe the first coat of paint, and then the last 2 coats of paint I did with the foam roller brush. So yeah, if I had to do it over again, definitely use the foam roller brush and not a paintbrush because it's just way too time consuming. So if you're new to my channel, we moved into our house about 3 years ago. This backsplash was already up. We never really did care for it. I actually wanted to replace it, but I had seen a video from Do It on a Dime showing that you can paint your backsplash, and I was so excited because I thought, hey, I could save money. And so I decided to go ahead and try this first before replacing it. If you follow me over on Instagram, you also know that I really want to paint my cabinets as well. So that's up and coming soon, hopefully. So here I'm just showing you what it looks like after the first coat of the primer's on. Obviously it's not perfect, but it's going to give something for the paint to adhere to. Now it was time to apply the first coat of paint. And like I mentioned, we used a paintbrush to apply the first coat, which was very time consuming. And here you can see the bright white up against our wall color and with the shutters and stuff like that. So this kind of gives you a visual of what it's going to look like. You can totally pick out whatever color you want for your backsplash. We realized later this probably wasn't the right color, but nonetheless, we had fun doing this project together. It had been a while since we had done a house project together, so for the most part it was fun. I ended up doing the last couple coats by myself, but he was a huge help by going out and getting all the supplies and doing a lot of the prep work. So by the second and the third coat, I had had enough with that paintbrush and I moved on to the foam roller. I just want to say too that we let the primer dry for about an hour, and then in between coats we waited an hour or two. So this did turn out to be almost an all-day project just because of the drying time, but as far as actually doing the work, it really wasn't too bad. And like I said, this is a really inexpensive way to make over your kitchen. So again, I just wanted to remind you of what our kitchen backsplash looked like before, and then here is what it looks like afterward. So a couple things we found is that there were a few areas that could be peeled or it didn't stick very well. Some spots where we removed the tape, it ripped up a little bit of the paint. It showed a lot of imperfections right here. And then there was also another area kind of underneath the cabinets where they didn't grout the tile, and it was very obvious. Overall, I would say this definitely works. It's a very inexpensive way to transform your kitchen. However, for us, we found that this color that we chose, the bright white, totally clashed with our warm interior paint, cabinets and countertops, and even our floors, which we thought were more of a cool toned. Certain pictures that will look okay, but definitely when you see it up against our warm tones in our house, you can tell that it does not go. So we ended up ripping it out. We didn't really like the small tiles to begin with. Like I said, I just wanted to try something. I thought maybe it would buy us some more time. But yeah, here's the renovations that are going on. And my husband has since put up some drywall, which is a gray tone right here that I actually love. So now I'm leaning more towards a gray for a backsplash. I'm not sure yet, but we'll probably end up painting our cabinets and then deciding from there. All right, so that wraps up today's video. Hopefully this has been helpful to you. Maybe you've learned something new. Maybe you've learned from our tips and tricks along the way. Don't forget to subscribe so you can come along on our journey and watch the whole kitchen transformation take place. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next one. Bye, friends.